Hey guys, it's Evan the Cat King here with another video, and today I'd like to talk about the most recent episode of Disventure Camp, episode 14. And I ain't here to complain about it, I ain't here to berate it like everybody else seems to be doing, and calling it the worst episode, the muddy Sunday of Disventure Camp. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to say that I think this episode of Disventure Camp is not bad. I think that it is honestly good. And I think that I've seen a lot of criticism being thrown towards this episode, and I don't really think it's necessary. Of course, everybody's entitled to their opinion and whatever, but I'm here. I'm in this video. I'm going to be taking all of the criticisms that I've seen, maybe not all of them, the ones that I've seen more than others, and I'm going to be, explaining why I think it's just false and why I disagree with those opinions. Of course, everybody has their own opinion, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion. If you didn't like the episode, well, then you didn't like the episode. You shouldn't have me make you think that if you don't, if you're here just to crap on it more, then I don't know. But don't listen to me unless you're willing to actually listen to what I have to say. But anyways, we'll get into things. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna leave a comment down below in the comment section to kind of the times of where I start talking about things, because if there are certain things that you don't really care about me talking about, that if you don't want to listen to, it's like, oh, I don't really actually care about that, then go down to the comments, and it's like, oh, if you're looking for certain thing in particular, I am talking about just a multitude of different criticisms. But we're going to start things off with the only one that I actually agree with in this video, or I agree with some of them on some points, but this one I just completely agree with the criticism, and that is the Aiden plot armor. You cannot tell me that Aiden doesn't have plot armor. Aiden has that is the biggest issue I have with this episode. I don't think that this is really a problem with the episode, as it is just a problem with the whole season in general, because it's just Aiden has way too much plot armor in this season, and it's annoying. And it's because Aiden's voice actor is the best voice actor that they have. He's the one that does all the he's the one that tells people about in the middle of the episode about the whole oh, you can support them by getting personal messages and stuff. He's obviously he just is. I feel like his voice actor is just the Odd Nation cartoon's favorite, and it just seems like Aiden is just being given a lot more just because of that, and it's annoying. And I agree with the statement that Aiden has plot armor, and it's definitely an annoying thing. He should have been gone by now, but he's still here because, honestly, he should have. Maybe he should have gone this episode, genuinely. So, yeah. Either way, just know Aiden. This is a point that I completely agree with. Okay, now we're actually getting into some criticisms that I disagree on. I'm going to kind of start with, some of the lesser criticisms that I've seen, bigger ones coming in later in the video. So, again, go check it out in the comments. But I've seen some people get annoyed by the fact that the whole kiss reveal thing, with Aiden revealing Rhea and Alex's kiss, not being a bigger deal. And I don't get this criticism at all. It was a plot point that I already questioned. The whole Aiden trying to use those two kissing to try and take down the villains already didn't make sense in the first place. So I don't know what everybody was expecting out of him doing things. Of course, I've seen a lot of different opinions. Some people were annoyed by it. Some people were just like they didn't really care, and others really enjoyed it. I was one that really enjoyed it because like it's just like this whole plot at this point it maybe it's a thing of maybe they just shouldn't have done it if it wasn't really going to do anything. Of course it did end up doing something in the end. Connor did eventually like reveal that yeah, he is bothered by it, but him not just like blowing up there, and it was just like kind of a thing. And yeah, this criticism, I haven't seen it that much, so I don't think that it's really that big of a criticism of the episode. But yeah, I just wanted to address it because it's just I just don't think that it was that big of a problem. This is another one that didn't really get much like I didn't see it that much, but I did see it a couple times. That being the advice between Allie and Rhea being not good. Rhea giving just bad advice or whatever. That what are you talking about, bro? Rhea didn't give Allie bad advice. I saw people saying that she was just telling Allie to be a villain. No, she was telling her to be herself. And yes, Allie was talking about how she didn't really want to be a hero beforehand. So obviously, yeah, Rhea is kind of implying that she should just not be a hero and be more villainous with her. But at the same time, it's not the advice is right though. The you should just be yourself because you aren't going to be able to please everybody. I don't understand why people think that this whole thing is just crappy. I don't know why. Okay, now we're getting into some things that are actually I've seen more than like once or twice. And first off is people have been complaining about the animation of this episode and like how it's not as good as the other episodes. Oh my god, it's in some cases and in reality in some cases yeah, I can tell the animation seems a little bit more rushed or faster than usual. But at the same time, I don't care. And if you care about like, oh, it doesn't look super fresh and super nice, and it's like it didn't really decrease in quality that much. It's not like season 2 Disventure Camp quality animations. Plus, and it's also a thing of they just went from to a weekly thing. It shouldn't be a thing where it shouldn't be like people shouldn't be complaining about it. It's like they just went to a point where they didn't have as much time. Of course, maybe the animation quality won't be super great for the rest of All Stars. It won't be on the same level, but it's still not a bad animation. It's better than anything I could do, and it's better than anything you could get. Any of you guys watching this could do. I refuse to believe any of the Disventure Camp fans could make something as good as Disventure Camp. I just no. You're so just don't bother them about animation because bro, they're the animators, you're the viewers. Complain about the animation and you're just that's just not fair. Okay, now we're getting into some like I feel like the animation stuff it's another one that I've seen it more than the other ones, but this is actually like a point where things are actually getting very much I saw this kind of stuff a lot. The challenge. That's what we're talking about here. The cringy challenge. That's what everybody's been saying. The challenge was so cringy, it's just impossible to watch. Was it cringy? Yes. Was it hard to watch? Sometimes, based on how cringy it was. Yes. Was that the point of the challenge? Also, yes. The whole point of the challenge was for it to be cringy. That I think that is the point of that challenge. I don't think you can get upset about it being cringy because I feel like that was the point. Like even the characters were cringing at the fact that they had to do it. It was clearly shown that it was supposed to be a cringy challenge. And so if the point of the whole challenge is to be cringy, you shouldn't be complaining about how cringy it is. Like yes, it was not a great challenge. I'll say that, but it's the fact of the matter is did this challenge ruin the episode? No, cuz like the cringy parts of it being the dancing was only a few moments. It was more kind of around the characters that are interacting within it. Like, it was more about the duos rather than the dancing part itself. You can't say that the cringy dances completely ruined this whole episode, because the characters would dance at most like 3 times each. So you just can't say that it, like, they would only do small portions of dancing, and that was it. So I just don't understand why people are upset with the challenges. Plus, I don't know about you, but I'm not watching Disventure Camp for the challenges. I'm watching it for the drama. I'm watching it for the characters. I'm watching, like, because I don't know about you, but I don't really like the Disventure Camp challenges as much. I feel like they've had some bad challenges in there. In the past, they've just completely skipped over certain things. Other times, and like, I mean, I think a lot of people do like the whole like VR stuff with zombies and spaceships and superheroes and serial killers. But sometimes I feel like that just goes over the top, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. But the fact of the matter is, it was the challenge is just not. I don't think it's worth complaining about. It's supposed to be cringy, so you can't be. So I don't understand being upset about it being cringy, when that, I think, is the point of the challenge. All right, time to talk about Connor. Everybody's talking about how this may be not just about Connor. This is more about like the whole ending scene. People are saying that the ending scene is terrible. The whole Connor crying on the dock, Jake going to comfort him. There's just been so many complaints about it. I've seen people say, "Oh, Allie and Aiden just being jerks and making Jake do it and then walking away. Wow, that's so mean of them." And like, yeah, they're not being the most social people. What's that? Who cares? It's like, what is, are you annoyed by the episode because Aiden and Allie decided to be jerks and make Jake go talk to Connor instead of talking to him themselves? Wow. Yeah, people are selfish sometimes, and that's that. And but like, people, I've also seen like the talk of like, oh, Connor doesn't need to like need doesn't need a sad backstory. No, not everybody needs to have a sad backstory, and I understand the idea of not everybody needs a sad backstory. But I feel like Connor makes sense that, and this scene was good. It was good for Connor. I feel like it was a great scene for Connor, and it added a lot more to his character, and I feel like it makes things kind of make more sense for him, character wise. It makes previous choices make more sense, and I think stuff like him trying to feel young still, and it's like, I could see a whole thing where it's like, oh, he's trying to be with kids of more of his age because, well, he, like he said in the episode, people his age aren't, he's just not at that stage yet, and he's still treated like a child, so he might want to be around younger people because he feels treated like those kinds of people. And it just, I think it just adds so much to his character, and it honestly makes sense for his character. Now, like, another thing is like, oh, is it just based on the writer's change, and like, oh, now Connor's voice actor is like the main writer, and is he given, I think I'll end off the video by talking about the whole writer change or whatever, but that's another thing that people have been saying. I'm gonna end the video with that, so yeah. Okay, time to talk about Allie. Allie is kind of one of the biggest talking points after this episode, because people are saying that this episode completely derails Allie. And as you can probably guess, I disagree. I think that a lot of the... First off, I just don't think that you can derail a character in one episode. Just because they have like one bad episode doesn't mean that they're derailed. Oh my god, like, oh, they derailed her because she did one crappy thing. And at this, like, yes, I'll say it, what she did feel a bit out of character and a bit crappy. But look at like what happened earlier, and like people saying it's completely out of character. it's more, I feel like, seemingly more in character for her than anything else she has done, seemingly, because of the whole stuff with Rhea and how she's apparently she's been trying so hard to just be liked by people that she is just not being herself, and now we don't really know who Allie is. We know who Allie the Twitch streamer is, but we don't know who Allie the human is. So how do we know that this is out of character for her? Also, one thing is, how can you derail a character if there is no character? Allie has done nothing this whole season. There's absolutely nothing to derail. It's like she's just been a mediocre character and has basically done nothing up to this point other than argue with Jake. And so how can you derail someone if this is the first thing they've basically done all season? And that's just another thing. It's crazy. And also, people have been asking for them to either get rid of Allie or have her do something, let her actually be a part of something. And they finally did that. They had her do something and have her be a part of something, and now everybody's complaining. It's just complete backward stuff, and it's part of like a whole thing with the whole fan base feels just very against anything that anybody does, and it's annoying. But and also, just one more thing, her thing is not that crap. Like, yes, it's straight up, it's villainous. It's villainous, and like her leaving Jake to get chased by a bear. But is it that crazy? Is it that crazy? Because based on Jake has been nothing but a complete asshole to Allie this whole season. And Allie she's just basically been defending herself up to this point. And now this whole situation is started based on him completely insulting her, making it personal, calling her insecure, and like, yeah, that's not worth getting chased by a bear. But you have to remember, Jake woke up that bear. Jake put Allie in danger by waking up the bear. So I think it's completely fair for her to put Jake in danger after he already put her in danger. Allie's a big, like, that whole thing, well, yes, she's in the wrong for it, is not this big, like, it's not, like, the most screwed up thing anybody's ever done. People have been saying that it's worse than what Rhea does to Aiden. Rhea pushed him off a cliff for no reason, basically. She pushed him off a cliff for no reason, and it's a whole thing. Also, I think that one thing that Disventure Camp has done very well is showing what money can do to people, how much money, like how much greed, like what greed could do to people. And it's just insane. It's a very good point that it's always brought up. Money can bring the worst out of people, and that it happened with Allie. And could this lead to her being derailed? Maybe. But the fact of the matter is, she is not derailed. She's not. I don't care if it's like she did one stupid thing, and it's like, yeah, that was wrong, but she's not derailed. Okay, now time for the biggest point of criticism I think through this whole episode has had, that being the elimination. Yeah, I'm putting spoiler on the title of this video, because I mean if you're watching this, why would you watch this if you don't know what happens in the video? It's just, come on. Gabby is eliminated here. Yeah, it's sad. Gabby is one of my favorite characters, and I'm sad that she's been eliminated. But people have been just completely complaining, saying that her elimination is the worst elimination ever, and that the elimination completely just is like super awful, and like just completely the worst part of this episode. And while yes, it's sad, Gabby is gone, the claims that people have made are just for why it's the worst is stupid, because her elimination is completely fine. It's Yes, is it unfortunate that she isn't gonna win? Yes. But does she need to win? And like, just because your fan favorite isn't gonna win doesn't mean that it's a bad season. Like, imagine if like your favorite character in Total Drama was, say, Lashana, and every season that Lashana is in, she loses, and that makes you hate those seasons. That's just not necessary. And Gabby, people have been saying Gabby's the best winner option, and I do think that she's a great winner option, but is she the best one? I don't think that she's relatively the best one. Also, side note, why are people shipping Gret and Gabby? Gabby's dating Allie. Gret is not gay. I mean, like, can characters just be friends for once in this show and not be like shipped together? Like, God. But either way, also, like, I've seen people bring up, oh, the whole elimination doesn't make any sense. That, like, oh, how does she end up throwing her own phone into the lake? And it's a criticism based on, like, we never see them swap phones. And I think I've seen this with Total Drama, and I've brought this up, the Duncan elimination in Island, where people are saying that Chef just chose which of the two was eliminated. And it's like, just because we didn't see them actively vote doesn't mean that they didn't vote. And I don't think that they actually swapped phones in this case, but there was definitely opportunity for it to happen. Like, straight up, like, they were in the boat and, like, they had been paddling for quite a while. What are the chances that they just, like, put the phones down in the boat while they were paddling, and then when Gabby got tired and sat up and sat back and then just sat down to take a rest, what are the chances she just grabbed the wrong phone? I think that's plausible. They both fell in the water. Who knows what could have happened in that time? Who knows what, like, there was so, like, you can't just say that, oh, the whole Gabby was the one holding Gret's phone, was the one recording Gret's TikTok. So how does the phone that had Gabby's TikToks end up getting thrown? That doesn't make any sense. But bro, shut up. It's not that. It's very plausible, and people are just like, they just don't think things over. They just look at it at face value and just don't, like, think about, like, possible other options. And now, and Gabby's elimination, it just makes, it doesn't, it's not awful. It makes sense. And, like, people are saying, like, oh, she has, like, comparing, like, her to Gret, in that, like, Gret should have gone home instead. Gabby has more potential with her story. No, she doesn't. Gret and Gabby were part of the same storyline. Gabby's story in that storyline is over. Gabby's point in that story was to get Gret to see how just much of a narcissist Yule was, and she did. Gabby's point in that story is over. And while, yes, Gret has broken up with Yule, I don't think that that's necessarily the whole story for her now. And and I think that, especially given Yule's last words to her, I'm pretty confident that Gret is making it to the finale. If you're upset by that, I'm almost 100% sure. I'm like 99% sure that, or 95% sure, I'd say, that Gret is going to the finals, because it's ultimately, she needs to also, she needs to triumph over Yule one last time, in a way, and it's gonna result in her winning the money. Gret, I think, is just a better choice of winner than Gabby at the moment. Obviously, speaking that Gabby's been voted off, but so people complaining about Gabby's elimination. It's fine to be sad that your favorite character is voted out. but that doesn't mean that the episode sucks. Like, I was sad when Fiore got voted out because she's my favorite character. I'm sad that Gabby's voted out because she's probably my second favorite character. Am I going to be sad when Alec gets voted out? Yes. Am I going to be sad when... Actually, there's no more characters that I really like left. But, like, am I... it's just... It's not necessary, and I think that Gabby's elimination, while sad, and, like, people can be upset that she's been voted out, isn't just... That doesn't mean that you have to criticize the whole episode and show over it and the writers. It's just, oh wow, Gabby, your favorite character got voted off. Whoop-de-frickin-do. Womp womp. Moving on. In the end, I want to talk about one more thing, in that I think that all this criticism stems from one thing, and that one thing is the change of writers. In that now things have changed, and there's a new writer. Episode 13 was the one dude's last writer, the last writer's like final episode as the lead writer, and now they have a new writer, and that being Connor's voice actor. I don't actually know his name, but I know that's what is happening, and I feel that's just what all of this kinda, I feel like, comes from. People are just, if this exact same episode was done by the exact same writer as episode 13, I feel like people wouldn't really mind it. I feel like there wouldn't be nearly as much criticism towards this episode. But because they changed not voice actors, they changed writers, people just believe that it's like, oh, this is a new person, and they just don't trust them enough to just think maybe they're actually good. People are just not understanding, and like, I think that this episode was good. It wasn't bad. It was good. It was honestly one of the funniest episodes in all of Disventure Camp too. That's also a thing. This episode was hilarious to me. And like, yes, it was like cringy, but in honestly, this had some of the funniest lines in all of Disventure Camp, and you can't then, like, up to this point, the funniest parts of Disventure Camp and the things that were really getting me to laugh at Disventure Camp was Yule, which is ironic because he's just a complete ass, but like, this episode actually felt funny to me, and like, it's just unfortunate because now people are just criticizing it and aren't trusting it because of the fact that it's not the same writer. And that just, I don't think that's fair to Connor's voice actor. I don't know your name. Connor and Oliver's voice actor. And maybe there might be a problem based on that, like, is he helping giving Connor extra lines? I felt like Connor had extra lines in this. Oliver makes an appearance in this episode, and he hasn't made an appearance in quite a while. Is he going to favor things so that he can get more lines? Maybe. I mean, but the fact of the matter is, just stop completely attacking one guy because he's not the same writer. Just because he's not the same writer as before doesn't mean that he's bad at it. Doesn't mean that you can just criticize whatever he does because it's different. And it's just not fair to him, and it's not fair to people who are just here trying to enjoy a show, but then there's just constant negativity. There's just too much negativity floating around about episode 14, and you can have your own opinion on it, but just don't completely berate everything with criticism. If you have an opinion about it, just let it be your opinion. You don't have to voice it to everybody, and you don't have to go out and like just scream and say and like attack people because they completely, because they made an episode of a show that you don't like. I think that's the main point I would like to bring up in this whole video, and that just give this new writer a chance. Give things a chance. Maybe, yeah, maybe they didn't make the best episode, like going from episode 13 to episode 14. No, episode 13 is not is better than episode 14. But just because it's not as good as episode 13 doesn't mean that it isn't good. It doesn't mean that it's that the writing has gotten worse, or that it's just bad in general. I just think that people are being completely unfair and just not willing to give it time. And like now it's like a whole weekly thing. People are getting rushed now. That's another thing. They have 1 week in between episodes. Just give it some time. There is a chance, like, let them figure it out. Is this the episode, one of the lesser episodes of Disventure Camp All Stars? Probably, but that doesn't mean that it's bad, and it might take a little time for things to get back to the point where they were at in terms of quality. But because of the switch in, like, schedule, I think that's what is more of the thing that maybe reduced quality on this episode, rather than the writer. So it's just if you're gonna go out and just complain about this episode and complain about the writer, just don't let it be. If you're annoyed by it, just sit back and just wait for things to happen later on. If you're still upset in by the time the season is over, then yes, then you if things have gotten worse, then maybe it's fine. But just give it people a chance for once. Just give new things a chance. That's what we did with Disventure Camp. It was a new thing that was that was different from Total Drama, and we gave it a chance, and now it's turned into a weekly show. So just give it this new writing and this new format a chance. That's all I'm asking. And with that, I think I'm going to be done. I'm going to get away from the negative side of Disventure Camp and go over towards the positives, and go maybe make a video about how I found one of my tier lists in the past being sold on the internet. That's annoying, but either way, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.